Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com. This is episode 10 of Learn Lightroom 6, also called Lightroom CC. In this episode, we're going to continue with our processing workflow. Before I do that, though, let me show you a couple other things. First, um, a quick way to jump around the library and or develop module in Lightroom. Now, obviously, if you have this top panel open, you could just click on develop, click on library. But let's say you have that closed and you're in the library module and you want to quickly move over to the develop module. Well, to do that, the keyboard shortcut is D. D is in develop, and you could jump right over into the develop module. Now, if you want to jump back into the library module, you could hit the G key. G is for grid, and it brings up the grid view. You could hit the E key, and I don't know what the E key stands for, but it will bring you back to the library module with one image, the one image that you happen to be highlighted on. So remember those three keyboard shortcuts to jump between the library module and the develop module. Now, the next thing I want to show you is a touch of file management. Now, this is strictly an overview. It's not meant to be in depth, and this isn't everything you could do to manage your files in Lightroom. This is just and like I said, just to give you an idea of some of the ways you could sort your images. This would be mainly you were out on a photo shoot and you have a couple hundred images at least, and you just imported them into Lightroom. How do you go about sorting them? Well, you could just use the arrow key on your keyboard and go through the images and see which ones you like and decide which one and process it first. But a lot of people prefer to go through them and give them different ratings or colors or flags, and I'm going to show you that real quick. Probably the most popular method is to flag the image. And there's two possible flags. There's a pick, which is a white flag, and there's a rejected image, and that's a black flag. There's also uh, a third. It's not a flag; it's no flag at all. So that's a third thing. So you have a pick, a pick flag, rejected flag, and no flag at all. So this first image here, as you can see, I took a number of images. First of all, there's only probably a dozen images or so down here. This is really assuming you have hundreds of images, and way you could get through those images very quickly and whittle down to the ones you want to process. Now, you start with the first one, and I took some images of Gettysburg, and I was actually very disappointed in this group of images. I thought they'd turn out much better than they did. But I thought it was amusing because there was this monument and there was a bird on the statue's head on this guy here. So I took some images at varying exposures and different focal lengths. So I look at the image, I meter this one on the statue itself. I don't like it. The sky's all blown out. So I want to reject this image. So I hit the X key. Now you can see when I hit the X key, it automatically advanced to the next image and it put a little black flag in the corner of that image that I rejected. Let me click on it so you can see there's a little black flag there. Also, up here, you can see that there's a flag in the toolbar that's a black flag with an X through it. That means I rejected that image. Now, as I mentioned, after I hit that X key on the keyboard, it automatically went to the next image. That is controllable. If you go up to Photo, Auto Advance, you can see it's checked. If I uncheck it and let's say I want to reject this image, I hit the X key, it'll stay right there on that image. So it probably is more efficient if you leave Photo, Auto Advance checked. That'll get you through the images much quicker. So I reject this one, I hit the X. I don't like this one either, so I hit X. Okay, I kind of like this one, so I want to pick it. So I'm going to hit P, P for pick. So that one's picked, and as you look at it, you can see there's a little white flag in the corner. Also, when I'm clicked on it, you can see this white flag in the toolbar also. So this one here, I don't know if I like that one or not. So X. This one's similar, but I'm unsure. Let's say you're unsure. Hit the U key. U key could mean unsure. I think it also means unpick. The reason being, let's go back to this one that I rejected. Let's say I decide I don't want to reject that anymore, but I don't really want to make it a pick. Just hit the U key. That will unpick it. It makes it unsure, I guess. So we have a couple that aren't picked it all. So this one I like. I'm going to hit P. So you could go very quickly. You could go P, P, X, P, P, right? And you could move through your images very quickly that way. Now, what I do next, some people don't do this at all, is I delete those rejected images. I just get them, they go away. I delete them. Now, normally you would import your images and you'd be in your folder where you imported the images to. And what you would do is you would go up to Photo, and at the very bottom is Delete Rejected Photos. Now, for this demonstration, I have these in a collection. So when I click on this, it's going to ask me if I want to remove them from the current collection. That actually does not delete them from the disk. I'm just going to hit cancel. So just be aware of that. If you're in a collection, you really won't be able to delete them off the disk. But if you're on the folder itself, a different dialog box will pop up asking you if you want to delete the images from your hard drive, or if you want to just delete them from Lightroom. It gives you your choice. So that, of course, is totally up to you. So now I have a number of images that have flags on them and some that are no flags at all. Now what I want to sort them now. So what I could do is I could go to this drop down right here and I go to flagged. And what this will do is anything that has a white flag on it will be displayed. So I do that. Now I have all my white flags here. So I have it narrowed down. So if you had several hundred images and you just went through them all, you would go to this drop down and now you have a bunch flagged, and that narrows down, I guess, your determination of which one you're going to process it first. Now, what I do next is kind of just my own thing. I give it a star rating, and you could give a star rating between 1 and 5 stars, and you could see right here. And you could do it one of three different ways. You could actually just go right here and just click on the star and give it a star rating, and it automatically advanced to the next image. Or you could just hit a keyboard shortcut. The number 1 will give 1 star, 2 will give 2, 3 will give 3, and all the way to 5 will give 5 stars. Or if you're so inclined, you could go up to Photo, Set Rating, and just give a star rating right here. And when you do it this way, it's more clumsy, in my opinion. Now, if you gave it a star rating and you don't want that star rating there anymore, you could hit the 0 key on your keyboard and it will remove the star rating. Okay, so 1 through 5 will give it a star rating, that number of stars, or 0 will remove the stars, whatever you had there to begin with. Now, as I mentioned, I give it a star rating, and what I do is I just give it 3 stars no matter what. That's just my way of sorting. So um, if I like the image, I give it 3 stars. So let's say this one here, it's okay, but I don't think I like it. So I use the right arrow key to quickly go through. And this one here, let's say I give it 3 stars. I don't like that one, so I hit the right arrow key. That one I'll give 3 stars. That one I don't think I like, and that one I'll give 3 stars. Okay, so I have 3 that I gave star ratings to. Now, instead of star ratings, you could give it colors too. And what it will do, it will color this border that is around the postage stamp that is in the film strip. And to give it a color, you could just hit the numbers 6 through 9 on your keyboard. 6 gives it red, 7 gives it yellow, 8 gives it green, I think, and 9 gives it blue. So this one here I want to make red, let's say. So I'm going to hit 6. And you can see it gave the border of the image red. As you can look, there's a red border around the image. Now let's say I want that yellow instead. I would hit 7. So you can see it has yellow. Uh, Green I think was 8, and there's green. Blue is 9. Now you could also make it purple, but there isn't a keyboard shortcut for purple. So if you really want purple, you'd have to go up to Photo, Set Color Label, go to Purple. And that's that. So if you want to remove the color too, also you go to Photo, Set Color Label, oops, sorry, Photo, Set Color Label, None. And that will remove the color label. So now I have these images further sorted by the star rating. I'll go to this drop down here and I go to rated. See that? Now this is usually where I stop. The ones that I gave 3 stars to are the ones I'm going to process. I do use star rating for one more thing. Whenever I sell an image, I give it 5-star rating. So that way, when I do sorts and smart collections or anything like that, I know that if it has 5 stars, I sold that image. So that's just I guess the length of what I will do to sort my images. I don't get into it as probably as deep as I should. I tend to don't like to be in front of the computer. I'd rather be out taking pictures. So I just go very quickly through the images, determine the ones I'm going to process, and process them. And I usually never look back. That's just the way I do it. So this to give you a rough idea. I do want to show you one more thing. So I want to turn off all these ratings so I have all the images down here again. So I am going to see this little switch right here. If I just click that, it turned off the filters. So I have all my images there. Now, real quick, I'm just going to unpick the ones that I rejected earlier by hitting the U key, so they're all active. Now, what a lot of people do, and I don't really do this at all, but I just want to show you because it is popular. Let's say you whittled it down and you have a number of images. So you had 200 images to begin with, and now you're down to, let's say, whatever this is, 12 or so. Um, what you could do is you could compare one image to the other. And the way you would do that is you would hit the C key on your keyboard. And the C key will put up this screen here, the compare screen. You can see on the left, the one I was clicked on to begin with is the selected one. That's the one that's selected. This one is the candidate. Now, typically, the candidate would be the second image right here. But because I have these images in a collection and I don't have them in order, it's not it's not taking the one that's next in line. It's way over here. But we could still do it this way. So this is the selected one. This is the candidate. Which one do you like better? Well, I like this one better. So what I'm going to do is I could go right here and I'm going to replace X with what is in Y. So this is X, this is Y. I'm going to replace X with what is in Y by just clicking there. Now, that one is over there, and it picked the next image down, which is right here, excuse me, right here, and this one is the candidate. So candidate and my selected one, obviously they're almost identical. So um, I'm just going to hit the left arrow key to go this way because I have to go this way because I'm way over here. So left arrow key, and I have a new candidate. Left arrow key, new candidate. Which one do I like better? I still like that one better. Left arrow key, new candidate. Kind of like this one better, so I'm going to replace it. And I automatically went to the next one. Which of these two do I like better? I like this one. So I'm going to hit the left arrow key. I still like this one better. And I like this one better, so I'm going to replace it. Okay, so now I have this one. Now I have these ones that I have the sky blown out, so I don't like any of those better. So we're done comparing. This is my selected one, so I can hit the C key on the keyboard again, and that brings us just to this image here. Now, I could process that image all by itself. So I'm ready to process the image. So I'm going to go to the Develop module, hit the D key. I'm in the Develop module. So that is just a really quick overview of how you could sort through your images very quickly by using flags, using star ratings, using color labels, or using the compare feature. And again, that's just really just an overview. You could get really in depth in that, and it's beyond the scope of this group of videos. So I hope you understand that. So we're going to process this image. Now, as I look at it, I metered the sky, as you could see, so it's a silhouette, and I actually want to keep it that way. So, I mean, I'm not going to come in here and open up shadows. As you can see, I don't like that. So we're going to leave that alone. Now, it is a little bit crooked. It's a little deceiving too. Let me open up shadows. You can see the ground was kind of sloping downhill left to right, and there is kind of a mountain or a hill in the background, which kind of makes it look a little more level than it actually is. So I'm going to leave shadows up just for a minute, and I'm going to go to the angle, and I am going to try to straighten it just a little bit by moving this around, just by eyeballing it. I could go over here too and kind of do this. I think that's fairly straight. As I click down, I'm looking, there's a line that's going right up through this guy here, and you can see that's fairly straight. So I'm going to leave it with that. I'm going to hit enter. So I'm going to go with that. That looks straight enough. Let's put it that way. And I'm going to put shadows back to where it was. Now I'm going to process this as a silhouette. So highlights I'm going to play with first, and I'm just going to bring those down just a little bit. Shadows I want to bring down quite a bit. As I mentioned, I want it to be the silhouette. Whites, now because it's a silhouette, if I hold the Alt or Option key in and adjust it like I normally do, it might not really come out the way I want it. But that looks okay. Let's do the same for blacks. See, blacks, are bleeding through right away. So we're just going to eyeball whites and blacks. And I like it right there. Again, I'm doing this totally differently because it's a silhouette. Um, Typically, I wouldn't do whites and blacks yet, as you know, but I'm just trying to get a good silhouette right here. So I'm going to turn clarity up. I'm going to look at what adding contrast does to it. Medium contrast, strong contrast. Strong contrast, I'm going to go with that. Kind of enhance the sky quite a bit. Um, Vibrance, I don't know, a little bit, I guess. All right, now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to split toning. I'm going to go and do something a little different here. I'm going to go to the highlights first, and I'm just going to pick something very red. And you can see what it did to the sky. And I'm going to go to shadows, and I'm going to likewise pick something very red. So this is totally off the wall, obviously. Um, not real, is, I guess, so something like that. Give it some detail, even though it doesn't matter. It's a silhouette. We're going to enable profile corrections. My lens is in there. That's fine. Remove chromatic aberration, which doesn't matter. And effects, we'll add a little bit of a vignette. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, that's just I don't like it at all, to tell you the truth. But that's the way you would do it. I mean, if I wanted to use split toning and try to get these, weird color in the sky, something like that. Kind of click around. I don't know. Nothing is very appealing, to tell you the truth. But that's an idea, something you could do very quickly to process the image. Um, there's obviously all this kind of. I had I was in Gettysburg for one day, and then when I imported my image, I noticed I had a lot of streaking up in here, and I had actually grease on my sensor. And those of you that shoot Nikon know that the D600 had a lot of problem with sensor spots from grease. This was a D800E, uh, and I had it on that, as you can see all in here. Now I could go to the spot removal tool and remove it. I actually cleaned my sensor right after I got back from Gettysburg, and it took care of the problem. It hasn't come back. So okay, now I mentioned before, as you can see here, I have more spots up in here, but my overlay is getting in the way. And I mentioned in a previous video, you could just start outside and click down and slide across. You also could get rid of the overlay temporarily by hitting the H key on your keyboard, and it gets the overlay taken away. And you could just paint across and get rid of that way. Then you could hit the H key again and your overlays are back. As simple as that. So that is one way you could get around an overlay that is in the way. So that's really going to be it for this episode. As I mentioned, it was just really kind of giving you an idea what you could do with file management, and it wasn't meant to be in depth. So I just want to keep saying that because people get mad at me because I didn't mention that or didn't mention this, and I get kind of crazy emails. So again, it's just an overview to give you guys an idea what can be done. Now, in the next episode, we're going to do panoramas. In the episode after that, we're going to do HDR. Then in the episode after that, I'm just going to tie up loose ends and talk about things I didn't talk about. And that will be done, the series will be done as far as whatever is going to be available on CD or DVD, I should say, or available to download off the internet. And all the raw files that you could purchase will be just inclusive of these videos. There'll be 13 total videos. So just those first 13 videos, that will be the raw files. Now, the raw files, I'm not going to give you every single raw file here. I'm just going to give you this one. Just so you know right ahead what you're buying. I'm not going to give you all these. There's no sense, no reason why you need all those. You could sort your images yourself with the flags, star ratings, color labels, stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. So again, I'd like to thank everyone that watches my videos. Thank you very, very much. I certainly appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share my videos. I'd really like that. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys soon.